The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
All right, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the Optavia Habits of Health webinar. My name is Susan Pallas. I'm a certified Optavia coach, and I'm honored and thrilled to be the host of tonight's call. You know, Optavia's focus is on lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. If this is your first time joining the Habits of Health webinar, then we want to welcome you. This meeting is for all of our clients, all of our coaches, health professionals. And you may be a guest, just trying us for the first time, learning what it's all about. We want to really warmly welcome you as well. Optavia offers excellent tools, great support for weight loss, optimal health, well-being in all areas of our lives. The webinar is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel and podcast within about 48 hours. To find the YouTube channel, you search Habits of Health Zoom, and to find the podcast, search Optavia. I am excited. I'm joined by some amazing guests. And my intention for tonight's call is to offer easy, quick solutions that you can add into your everyday life, one tool that you can take with you to transform your health and well-being. And it really doesn't take too much. So I believe that you will find, as I have, that sometimes the smallest little micro habits, like Dr. A tells us, can make the biggest shifts in our health, and that we can develop lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. So I learned the value of quiet time when I started a corporate job. It was probably 25 years ago. And I was excited about the job. I loved the job. It was a 8 to 5 job. It wasn't that stressful, not many hours. I didn't have a family then. But I started gaining weight. I gained probably 30 pounds in a couple of years, and I'm a small person, and I got sick all the time, kept getting colds, and my skin broke out. And that's when I knew, like, I didn't feel stressed out, but my body told me different. Have y'all ever heard that a headache isn't a Tylenol deficiency? And I just love that, because our bodies are so wise, and they tell us exactly what's going on even when we're not aware. And so in my search for how do I relax stress, I tried meditation, and my first attempt was focusing on a candle flame. And I must say that I wasn't that successful. It didn't go well. But I kept trying, and I learned a technique that really worked for me. I also tried yoga, and again, my first class, it wasn't that great. I didn't really enjoy it, but I learned a way of breathing, and then I tried other classes, and I found one that was really right for me. So I encourage you, if you're going to try formal practices, to try many different kinds, methods, teachers. Keep searching for what works for you. I'm so proud that I have kept this habit up for 25 years. There I am hanging in a yoga trapeze. Shout out to Nicole DeWard, Shine Health and Wellness. My trainer has a yoga trapeze. In this position, you cannot check emails. You are in the present moment, no doubt about it. I have a wonderful family, and I was able to teach my children some breathing techniques and yoga techniques when they were little. And we used to do breathing contests before they left for work, and who could exhale the longest. But it really taught them some tools. And I remember my daughter said something, she was probably in 3rd grade, and she says she had a hard day at school, and so she went to the bathroom and practiced her breathing, and it made her feel better. So that was a really good mommy moment. There I am meditating. I still have the practice of meditation, not every day, but best I can. And that's my dog, Prince Palace, who sits in my lap. And when I tell you, every cell in my body is happy in that moment. And that certainly is my happy place. So what the relaxation techniques, I think, are so valuable. They can actually transform our lives and our health journey. Dr. A teaches these in the Habits of Health. I love chapter 18 and chapters 25, pages 313 to 315, talks about the relaxation response. Discover Your Optimal Health, chapter 10, and the free ebook, Stop, Challenge, and Choose. And you can get this from your coach, whoever invited you to this call, or you can go to habitsofhealth.net and download this wonderful free ebook. And just this week, Dr. A tweeted, set aside time to quietly reflect on our habits of health. What might need some attention? And that's what quiet time is. It's just a way to reflect, and how powerful that is. So what is the purpose of quiet time? Well, we want to cultivate the relaxation response. The relaxation response is when our body is in homeostasis, when all of our systems are humming, working well, repairing our cells, our immune system is working well. It is opposite and counteracts our stress response. And our stress response, our bodies are biologically programmed to fear, threat, for survival. And our brains get into action, our blood flows to our hands and our feet so we can run, fight, or think. And all of our energy goes to our extremities and leaves that vital process. It weakens our immune system. And so when we can cultivate a few simple tools, and we're going to share more about what we can do, but I'd love for y'all to put in the chat what you do to relax. When we activate this relaxation response, our bodies just hum. Cultivating stillness. Okay, so stillness is a really great word. And most of us think of maybe a meditating yogi. But stillness, I invite you to think about it like this. Imagine a perfectly spinning, fast spinning top. It looks still, but it's not motionless. It is moving so fast, it's just in harmony with itself. So when we are unconflicted, when we are wholeheartedly engaged in what we are doing, we are still. We are like this moving, perfectly spinning top. We've got flow, we've got momentum, and we've got energy. Contrast that when we're conflicted, we're right here and we wish we were over there. We're like a wobbly top, and it uses our energy and it weakens us. So these practices that we're going to talk about tonight just bring us back to the moment, our present moment, and that awareness just activates energy in and of itself. Cultivating presence, best gift we can give anybody is to be present for them. I know when my husband comes home, if I'm busy, sometimes I'll say, "Hey, hon," and I'll go back to my computer. And a great practice for me is getting up and greeting him and talking and just being present with him when he walks in the door. Cultivating awareness without judgment. So when we cultivate awareness, we are putting ourselves in a witness, watcher, observer way of being. It's like when we're able to go up in an airplane or a helicopter and we can see the trees. If we're down in the trees, we might get lost and panic that there's no way out. We can't find the path. But if we raise ourselves up a little bit, we can see where to turn, what to do, how to get out. And so when we cultivate this awareness, we're able to creatively problem solve, think of creative solutions, and judgment without judgment. Because again, that is key to being able to stay calm and activate that relaxation response in us. We want to cultivate peaceful feelings and health and well-being. So I am going to introduce you to my friend and client, Susan, who uses a type of meditation to experience her own renewal. Suze?
Hi, Suze.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm
So
doing
tell us
great.
about your journey. Go ahead and tell us about your journey.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for this opportunity to share my story. Like you said, I was in a similar situation where I was working hard and also gained weight and wasn't feeling good. So it was in 2016, and I was working 24/7 as a realtor without any focus on any kind of healthy break time. And I experienced a mental and physical burnout. And I realized when I was on vacation with my daughter that something needed to change because I was so uptight that I was unable to really let myself relax. I found it so difficult to loosen up and wind down and be in the moment with her. And I was, of course, attached to my cell phone, like so many of us are, especially as a real estate agent. And I felt a pull that like need to be connected to the world of clients and contracts. And I also developed a sinus infection, which began my first of many to come after that. And this was really it for me. This was my wake up call. So after vacation, we came back and I began looking into wellness programs. And a local yoga center was offering a program called mindfulness. And I didn't really know what that was. So, but I was curious. I went to the intro class and I signed up on the spot. And what mindfulness is it focuses on living fully in the moment through intentional awareness. I embraced the daily routines of meditation and deep breathing. And it wasn't long until I could feel myself come back again to life. I felt like a living, breathing person again. I was a human being, not a human doing. So, no surprise, I was also sleeping better and really started to live in the moment. So, as my mind was having all the fun, my body was longing for some attention too. So it was clear that I needed to also make some physical changes. So I began a health regimen of supplements, chiropractic, and yoga. So after I began doing all that, the next thing was to get on the dreaded scale and see how much more of me there was to love. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, and it wasn't. What I saw to me was devastating. So I called 911 and my pal Susan Pallas answered. Susan knew what I was going through. She knew the journey I was on, and she was a big support to me. We met and she told me about the Optavia program. And within 1 week, I experienced positive results. The focus on drinking lots of water and eating small meals at frequent intervals throughout the day helped also boost my energy levels. And soon the pounds were coming off too. So it was then I truly felt rejuvenated, mind, body, and spirit. Within 3 months, I lost 14 pounds of this toxic weight gain. It was body weight from the toll of excess stress and fatigue. I distracted my overworked mind with the comfort of eating. It's very common. It's a common avoidance habit to turn to eating or drinking or smoking for that instant gratification. The problem is that the feel-good feelings are short-lived, and then you're left with the guilt of your impulsiveness. So by eating according to the structured Optavia program, I was soon able to manage and control my eating, and I no longer had the desire or the need to binge eat. So this having control and making intentional choices of the mind is really the most empowering way to live. It helped me in all areas of my life. Now I live with a heightened awareness. mind and body live in sync with each other. And I focus on a healthy, integrative lifestyle through meditation, exercise, good nutrition, walks, music, whatever I feel like doing that's going to be in my best interest for my health. And when the mind and body are in balance, there is that harmonious joy. And that's a beautiful thing. And we all deserve to give ourselves that gift. And that's
Oh,
my story.
that is a gift. Thank you for your gift and the gift that you've given all of us tonight. Loved hearing your journey, Susan.
Thank you,
Harmonious.
Sue.
Thank you. Bye, Suze.
Bye-bye.
So bye-bye. What are some of the benefits that we can get through relaxation? Increasing our happy chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. It improves our digestion. When our stress hormones are activated, the blood goes away from our digestion, and it doesn't matter if lunch or breakfast is sitting there. It's not going to get the attention it needs. Increases willpower. So the executive function part of our brain, the frontal region of our brain, is like the CEO of our bodies. And it's responsible for making these good choices that we want to make, setting our goals and moving forward. But how many of us are leveled by a cookie or something, or a TV show, and we lose our great plans? So by activating the frontal lobes of our brain get tired. The executive function gets very tired very quickly. There was a study done where just memorizing a phone number, 10 digits, caused study participants to choose chocolate cake over the responsible fruit salad. So when we're able to relax through our day, our willpower muscle is just activated automatically. Increases our immune function. When we're stressed, our immune system cannot work well. Reduces inflammation, improves brain function. There is a whole study. Neuroscience is finding the power of mindfulness and relaxation to our brain. We age, but our brain doesn't have to. Lowering blood pressure. Our arteries, veins, those are muscles. And when we relax, they relax too. And again, we strengthen our heart, our lungs, improve our concentration and focus, and strengthen our resiliency. Our heart goes out to our friends and neighbors in Florida and in Texas, and they are demonstrating a beautiful resiliency with the stress that they have been under recently. So I want to introduce you to my girl, Kristen. Kristen had an amazing physical transformation. She's lost over 70 pounds, and so she's been an inspiration to all of us. Now she has a new chapter in her story. Kristen?
Hi. This really was a very interesting topic. And when Susan presented it to me, it reminded me of a little game that I used to play when I was younger. My dad would always say, pick a milestone in your life and choose an adjective to describe before the milestone happened and after the milestone happened. So the milestone that I'm going to talk about is about 13 weeks ago, I was in a car accident and shockingly discovered that I have cancer, and thought my life was incredible. I was busy and confident, competent, and just moved through my life in a way that I thought was very effortless. Even had time every morning where I had breakfast with God. And interestingly enough, the word that I would use to describe my life before this diagnosis, it would be hurried. I was an expert juggler. I never took time to enjoy any of my accomplishments. I was constantly distracted within life. I actually didn't begin to realize it until after the diagnosis. And the word that I would use to describe my life now is present. And it's funny to see my life in this perspective because I feel like I have all the time in the world at this point. And I know that's a funny thing to say after a scary diagnosis like cancer, but you know, it's really true. I can focus on a moment and focus on every breath that I take in, every breath that I exhale, connecting with the person behind me in the grocery store, reading a book, or loving on my service dog, Izzy, that I'm so lucky I get to take with me everywhere. It's such a beautiful realization for me to see that this diagnosis has not just devastated me from living my life. It's actually inspired me to live and experience life despite this minor detour that has occurred in this particular season in my life. This is my life, and it's perfect exactly the way it is right at this second. So, spending my mornings with God by journaling, reading my devotions, creates such a relaxing and peaceful existence for me. Bringing my service dog with me everywhere I go allows me to focus on my inner peace by keeping me grounded in the foundation that I set each morning with these daily practices. I know while most people would look at this situation and think, oh my God, what an awful thing this poor woman and her family have to deal with. But really, I see this as an opportunity to experience the pure beauty that each of our lives has to offer.
Wow, Kristen, you have always inspired me and continue to amaze and inspire me. And I know many lives will be changed by hearing your story tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So Susan mentioned them, Kristen mentioned some. What are some quiet time practices that we can implement in our everyday life? And it doesn't have to be a lot. John's going to take us through a breathing exercise in a few minutes. But breathing, if we can take 3 breaths before every fueling, at a red light, um, anytime through your day, it can activate the relaxation response. It's free, it's inside of us, no equipment needed, and it is the most miraculous tool that we have. Prayer, meditation. You know, when we're praying, when our mind is nourished, we can't be thinking of 2 things at once. So prayer is so powerful as a quiet time practice, as Kristen mentioned. What Susan was talking about was mindfulness-based stress reduction. But Herbert Benson, John Kabat-Zinn started this. It's in a lot of universities, businesses. You can Google it. There is a great app. It's called Insight Timer. Insight, INSIGHT Timer. And it's free. You can download it, and there are thousands of meditations, mindfulness training, 1-minute breathing practices, going to sleep. I use it to go to sleep. I use it in the morning while I'm walking sometimes. Just really great, great resource. Setting intentions, visualizing. This is so cool that when we can visualize something, there was a study done at UCLA that they took the blood of some participants and had them visualize something that made them happy for 5 minutes. It could be world peace. It could be making a lot of money. It didn't matter. 5 minutes. They drew their blood again, and 3 major markers of immunity went up. So I love that, and the mind doesn't know the difference between something real and imagined. So when we can visualize, powerful, powerful tool. Stepping out in nature for just 1 minute can change our physiology. Petting, Kristen talked about her service dog. I once walked into a room and she was sitting there with Izzy on her lap, and it was the most peaceful thing I ever saw, just sitting, petting Izzy. Walking and jogging, this is really interesting because when we are used to a certain amount of stress, that and stimulus, that when we try and meditate, like happened with me when I first started, my receptor cells were like clamoring for that stimulus, that same stress stimulus. And so walking and jogging can help because your body's under somewhat of a little bit of stress. And so you don't have the withdrawal symptoms and your mind can relax. Great technique. Reading, stretching, dancing. One of the things, really the simplest thing you can do is yawn. So if you can do it now, just take a yawn, and if you can stretch your body, and if you can do that like 10 times, just take a minute and yawn. Your brain is activated, relax, your body's relaxed, you're into more in the present moment. So I am going to turn it over to my friend John Fuller. You know, I saw John in I saw one of his posts, and it was just such a peaceful Saturday morning post of what he was doing. And it inspired me to ask him to come on and share with us. And John, you have 4 kids, a beautiful white cat, you're active, busy. When do you find time for quiet time?
Hey, Susan, thanks for having me on tonight. I'm super grateful to be here and just take a few minutes of time with everybody. That is a great question. With 4 kids, working from home, being here, it's like, when is my quiet time? And, you know, for me, I think it's important that we all find a moment, whenever that might be, that can be quiet for us. For me, it's at night when everyone's asleep. All my kids are in bed. My wife's asleep next to me. I pull out my books. I read. I pull out my journal. I write. And I just reflect on the day and the things of what's happened today. Well, a little bit of transparency. Yesterday was a little bit of a rough day for me. So what did I do today? Today, I got up and I went up into the mountains. I literally drove up to the mountains. Now, I know not everyone has that kind of time, but for me, I needed that. And there wasn't anything else that was more important than me taking a little bit of time. So I went up to the mountains with my books, with my journals, and just sat down listening to the river and just really took in the moment and was super grateful for the opportunity I had to be there. And that's what's important for me when we think about quiet time is, you know, it wasn't pin drop quiet when I was by the river, but it was the sound I needed to hear to calm my mind and calm my soul. And so I loved it. And so what I want to do here is I want to take just really one quick minute with everybody. And I want to teach you a super quick breathing exercise that I like to do. And so if all of you can practice this with me, I want you to sit up straight in your chair. I want you to put your feet flat on the floor. I want you to close your eyes. This is very important. I want you to put your hands on your heart. And I want you to take deep breaths, deep, full breaths, okay? In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, while you're breathing, I want you to think about the things that you are grateful for, and think about them one at a time. As you breathe in, think about what you're grateful for. As you exhale, realize how this is a blessing into your life, and just do this and think about however many things you want to in that moment. If you take 5 minutes a day doing this, 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes, it doesn't really matter. But I love having your hands over your heart. I love feeling your heartbeat through your hands and through your body, and just being connected. And you can literally feel that energy come in through the top of your head and all the way down in through your feet. And you feel connected. You feel one as you breathe in, and you feel the gratitude for what you're thinking about. So thank you, Susan, for letting me take just a minute with everybody.
Wow, John, that was powerful. I don't want it to end. Thank you so much. This week being recorded so we can listen to John again. Thank you so much. And to end, I love this quote: just quit trying so hard. Sit quietly with yourself, and you will see there are no demands within you. Thank you all. I'm going to turn it over real quickly to Angie, who is going to share with us the goodies that we have coming up in a couple of weeks. Angie.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I am super excited to invite each and every one of you, and invite your friends, to celebrate National Optimal Health Day with us right here in 2 weeks. So mark your calendar, save the date. Following our Habits of Health webinar, we are going to have our very own Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson joining us here on this live Zoom to share and celebrate National Optimal Health Day with you. Now, I think it's our 5th annual National Optimal Health Day, and our mission, of course, is to get America healthy. So please join us, mark your calendar, but we would just love to see you. Of course, come next week too for Habits of Health, but we would love to see you in 2 weeks for National Optimal Health Day. Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you. And thank you, Angie. Thank you, John, Kristen, Susan. And most of all, thank you guys for tuning in and creating this wonderful community that we have. Good night, everybody.
The following audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.